What's up, dudes and dudes here, and my name is Scyushi, and we're back as more Trove patch notes. I know I'm late, okay? I talked about this in my Luxian video, but to summarize, I've been busy with Elden Ring. What can I say? It's one of my favorite games, and the DLC is so much more exciting than this update. Now, that said, this update is on PC only right now. Devs keep kind of hinting about it coming to console, but honestly, who knows? Let's just say either late June, maybe July. Nobody knows. The update itself, it's okay. Like, if I ended up giving it a review, it's not like it's bad, but there's certain things about it that are really, really bad, most of all just because of the scaling of it all and everything. But yeah, let's get into it. So, combat the rising tide. A new enemy faction has invaded Trove, found only in the most difficult locations and forged under the immense pressure of the depths. Denizens from the depths have risen up and can be found in the new Long Shade / Uber 12 difficulty level, as well as in the new Delve Biome. Saltwater Sam and his crew can be found exploring the Long Shade and helping combat this new threat. So opening up the Atlas, you'll see a lot of things have been shifted around, and more particularly, all of the difficulties have been renamed. At this point, lots of people are still calling it U12, and we all know exactly what that is, but my concern is moving forward. New players coming to Trove, like in a few months, U12 isn't going to make much sense to them, which is why I've kind of been asking the community, like, what should we call it? Should we just call it U15? You know, another idea that I just had recently is we could call it D15 for difficulty 15, but I don't know. It's very weird that they ended up just renaming all the difficulties for no reason. And yeah, the fact that this is just U12, aka U15, like it's weird. Anyways, new max difficulty. A new adventure world with max difficulty. Long Shade, equivalent to Uber 12. See difficulty named section below. We don't need to cover that. To enter, characters must have 42.5k PR and 10k light. Good luck actually handling it at that power, though. Unlike most adventure worlds, the world only contains a mix of 3 biomes at any given time that rotate out every 3 hours. So looking at this right here, you can see we got Jurassic, Treasure Isles, and Sundered Uplands, I think. I think that's the icon for that. As these biomes rotate, a variety of new ores, harvestables, and crafting materials can be found within, which basically means certain resources are kind of, I'm not even going to say time gated, because you're going to have to wait 3 hours for the biomes to cycle, and then it might not generate with the biome that you want. It's a thing, and it's bad. Trovians can only carry a limited amount of these new items for no reason whatsoever, and although that maximum can be increased, though I haven't seen how, they can also be used at Saltwater Sam's ship outpost, found scattered throughout the Long Shade to craft more stuff. Okay, let me see if I can find a ship outpost for you guys. So first of all, looking at the map, this is the Leviathan icon, but there are no Leviathans. Instead, it's just going to end up being these hub spawn areas. Yeah, so the little hub icon or whatever, the outpost, that's usually going to end up being one of these ships. So Saltwater Sam and his crew can be found having established outposts throughout the Long Shade. Upon their ship, new collectibles and keys can be crafted. So this is going to end up being one of the new crafting tables, which you can see has depth cores, which this is kind of the big fundamental part of this update, but you'll see that it requires pyrite seashells found in Treasure Isle biome. Okay. New resources for each biome for some stupid reason. Anyway, there's Runic Essence. There's going to end up being these stupid keys. This is going to end up being a daily key you can only craft 5 times, which is supposed to give you better resources out of the new 5 stars, which we'll tackle momentarily. I can guarantee you that this barely gives you anything worthwhile. It's just not, who cares? And then there's the new delves, which I'm gonna be real with you guys, this delve sucks. It's the worst delve in the entire game. You thought that they could actually make delves worse, or that they couldn't make delves worse? Well, they did. And then this is just going to end up being the key that you use in the new delve, so that we can't use any of our previously used delve keys. There's also going to end up being this Runic Anvil, and this is going to end up being essentially a new type of skill tree that requires a bunch of new resources that we can end up farming, and It's awful just for the sake of the amount of resources that are required to max this out is ridiculously expensive and time consuming. But we'll skip on from that. So 5-star dungeons can be found throughout the Long Shade, creating surface depth caches, requiring keys to open upon completion. This is going to end up being the new 5-star. It looks the exact same in every single biome. I really wish, like, even a simple color swap would have gone such a long way, devs. Like, seriously. I like this dungeon. Like, genuinely. I just wish that it looked thematically different for each biome, similar to the Christmas tree dungeons during the holidays. Funny how they put the extra work into the seasonal event dungeon that's only seen once a year, and then the actual dungeon that we're going to be stuck with for months and years, hopefully, is the one that has no detail. One of the worst things about these dungeons is the knockback is insane off of these enemies. But yeah, so just to show you guys really quick, we open up this chest and we get absolute garbage. We didn't even get a single crystal drop out of it. Like, these are bad. So they also mention, rather than normal invaders, when invasions occur in Long Shade Adventure Worlds, an invading depths obelisk will drop from the sky, allowing Trovians to summon forth powerful enemies. Basically like a activated rampage, I guess. Honestly, I haven't seen any of those yet, so that's kind of cool. Next, we've got the new Delve Biome, and I'm gonna admit to you guys that this Delve Biome is the absolute worst experience I have ever had in this entire game. I will avoid these delves as much as I can, but I will insert some footage of me doing one of the delves. So it says, for characters of sufficient strength and swimming skill, the depths await a flooded delve biome providing additional challenges and rewards. You can only handle this delve at depth 170 by default. So unless you have like a group of people that are particularly powerful, usually in most cases I go into delves alone, I can't handle this area. Maybe I could once I end up getting the new tier of gear, but I'm getting ahead of myself. The depths is only accessible via matchmakers, the creation of which Saltwater Sam and his crew have been studying. You can find them at outposts in all biomes in Longshade 15 worlds. Unlike standard matchmakers, every floor/tier will be the depths biome, with the new bosses appearing every third floor, and instead of a shadowy soul vault, every third floor will have a runic depth vault, which can be opened using those stupid keys that we mentioned. To make matters worse, the depth matchmaker will only take you up to 12 floors deep, allowing for 4 bosses and 4 vaults total. Now, a Delves update across the board is that a new under pressure debuff, periodically pulsing damage and reducing health regen, has been added to the Delves. This just goes to show that the devs don't play this game because nobody has health regen. Because health regen sucks, because they promised that they would retweak health regen years ago, but somebody on the dev team didn't get the memo. So they say that this new effect will first appear in depth 160, 150 for challenge delves, and increases in strength as your depth increases, with periodic jumps in power after 10 floors. So then we've also got, for no reason whatsoever, Runecrafting has gotten an upgrade and is now the bulkiest table that doesn't fit anywhere in this whole game. I like the look of it, but I just hate the fact that it takes up so much space. They've increased this up to level 400. A lot of the resources are worthless, but we'll talk about it. So the runecrafting profession has 2 new tiers, allowing players to reach a new maximum runecrafting skill of 400. Runes are an equipable auto-consume item that can be crafted using runecrafting. Similar to shouts and stances from martial arts, runes go into the auto-use slot and are consumed when performing specific actions. In addition to providing temporary buffs, consuming runes also creates rune fragments used to craft more powerful runes. So you have to craft these stupid things, you have to use them. It's just, yeah, anyway. A runecrafting progression system workbench, the Runic Anvil, allows rune crafters to specialize and focus how they utilize their runes. Basically, there are a lot of things in here that are kind of like, they're kind of like tomes. So this one right here, the leaflet, produces 10 chocolate algae when fully charged. You end up charging it by completing dungeons, and then you can see that it costs more investment than you end up getting back out of it. So with the runic table skill tree thing, there are some abilities in that that will actually change the way these function and allow you to continually charge them over and over within a set time frame. So that actually makes these worthwhile because it essentially makes it a time-limited tome. So you're kind of incentivized to go as fast as possible, which means that more than likely you'll probably end up just going to U6 or something once you end up actually getting one of these, just to be as quick and efficient as possible. But anyways, many existing runecrafting recipes have had their materials adjusted, material cost adjusted. Collections from Runecrafting Bench are now unlocked directly rather than via a crafted item. So I guess they mean like some of the mounts and stuff like that were in here, just automatically, boom, they're in your inventory. Or they're saying that you don't have to craft these tomes. No, you still have to craft these tomes. I don't know what they're talking about. Up next, we've got a new gear tier. Now, I already had a video highlighting this, so if you guys want to see more details about that, you can. Whispers abound of a new tier of gear, Mystic Gear. Gear crafters have not yet figured out the secrets of Mystic Gear, meaning it cannot yet be crafted directly, but it will eventually, right? Instead, exotic, expensive materials, some from 5-star dungeons, some from the Delve Biome, must be used to forge and upgrade Crystal 5 into Mystic 1. Now, I want to point out, nowhere in game does it refer to the item as a Mystic 1. The patch notes does, which means they've kind of made a little bit of a mistake, because it means that we already know it's only a matter of time before we get Mystic 2, 3, 4, and 5. It's probably going to take a while to do that, but this seems to be their long, drawn-out, padded progression update. Like, I assume they're going to keep adding Mystic Gear, adding higher tier difficulties and stuff. Maybe we'll get like a couple options up to, U20 or, difficulty 15, whatever that would be, an Uber difficulty. But point being is, I don't know if I like it, but we'll move on. Trovian's best gear crafters are diligently working alongside the stupid idiot in the hub to unlock its secrets. Basically, they're going to end up giving us the ability to craft these down the road. But as we all know, gear crafting is pretty atrocious for trying to craft Crystal 5 in the first place. Like, nobody's stupid enough to do it because the cost just is not worth it. And so I'm assuming Mystic's going to be even worse. Now, there are also 3 new dragons added into the game. One of them, a dragon effigy, will work on, and the other 2 we're going to have to craft. Now, I do have a screenshot of what the other 2 dragons look like. So I'll just show you the screenshot before I end up showing you guys what the actual dragon looks like. I do have another video that does highlight him, but at the time I didn't have a screenshot of the other dragons. And then I also want to show you guys the crafting components. So first of all, the dragon that we just obtained is this guy right here. Here's his stats: max health, stability, magic find, kind of worthless, but overall a very, very beautiful dragon. The problem is that they just keep adding dragons to the game and nobody really uses dragons anymore, because they're just not efficient at the end game, save for maybe the cosmic dragon being the only one. Now, in order to end up actually crafting this dragon, he's going to be hatched with these resources, which, yikes, 400 dragon coins for no good reason whatsoever. Devs seem to have forgot the memo that most dragons cost 300 dragon coins. There is absolutely no reason for this dragon to cost 400 dragon coins other than them trying to just add perceived value to the new hot dragon, not realizing that they should be designing the game around the long term. Doing something like this just makes it less approachable, and I understand their mentality because Game of Go probably told them, hey, we need to make more sales out of the dragon coin cache or something like that, but I still completely disagree with them just upping the price when the free-to-play way of actually getting dragon coins still needs an overhaul. It's needed an overhaul for years. But anyways, there's the Pyric Essence, which you can see is found from converting various Longshade resources. Not really. As far as I've seen, the only way that you can convert resources is using one of the new allies that's crafted out Saltwater Sand Workbench, because the bench itself doesn't actually let you convert resources raw. Which is weird because everywhere in the patch notes and everywhere in the game description, it says that we can convert these resources, but I think they must have missed something because that doesn't seem to actually be in the game. And then there's Fishbone. So it just says whispered to appear in difficulty 15 worlds. Once again, devs, do your job. The description needs to be consistent. Look at this. I can go to this dragon. Oh, Despoiled Divinity. Oh, look, that's where you get it. Chaos Core. Oh my God, look, the description actually says where I'm supposed to get it. None of this ambiguous crap. Like, what idiot did this? They need to stay consistent with the updates, dude. I hate, like, it's a very big pet peeve of mine that they keep going backwards on things. I'm sorry I'm so frustrated today. Anyways, then there's gonna end up being the dragon itself, and then there's also the fragment dragons. So this is the stats off this guy, pretty worthless, but whatever, still a cool looking dragon. These resources are a little bit harder to get. The fragment themselves, I don't know. Actually, I have an idea where you get the fragments, but the game sure as heck doesn't tell you. Basically, there's these kind of the same as you know how you can craft an item to summon a rampage boss? Well, the invaders in U15 are those rampage bosses, essentially. Like, I'm just saying this for familiarity so that you guys know what I'm talking about. But essentially, those enemies, I think, have a very rare chance of dropping the fragments. But then on top of that, the essence and stuff, a lot of these other resources, you need to have one of the new allies crafted at Saltwater Sam's. In the description of the ally, it'll say, it gives you Zephyr Essence randomly or something like that. So that's how you get that. Same with the Abyssal Essence. I did end up getting one of them, so I don't have an ally and I got one. So there's something that you can find in the environment. But I think that the dragon fragments, if I'm not mistaken, are off of those new invaders. Oh, I'm an idiot. I should have just read the patch notes. The patch notes literally just say, yeah, it says that the fragments are found from the invading depths Obelisk. So yeah, the invaders. I was right. Then the patch notes briefly goes over difficulty names and how they renamed everything for no reason. It doesn't explain why they renamed everything, so we'll just skip right over that. There's been a bunch of new dungeons added to the game in various biomes, whatever. They've also added a bunch of new styles. So 45 new depths themed styles have been added, 10 faces, 5 hats, and a bunch for each weapon type. These styles can be obtained by loot collecting. They say in the patch notes, once again, deconstructing. Whoever's on the dev team writing these patch notes, I'm sorry, it hasn't been called deconstructing for years, dude. Like, get with it. Anyways, loot collect gear dropped from the depths NPCs in the Longshade difficulty world or the depths, or you can unlock them with super style stash. So that's probably what we're gonna do. And then we're already moving on to the Misc features. I'm not gonna go through all of these, just the ones that are noteworthy. So fixed an issue preventing the Solarian Paragon leaderboard from appearing. Fixed an issue that would cause crystal gear obtained from Gearcrafters vaults or crafted to be the incorrect stat order. I don't know what that means, but okay. Fixed an issue that would cause bards to get face equipment obtained from Gearcrafter vaults or crafted has physical damage on them. Torches no longer give mastery, which, I mean, I guess that's good for general players because torches can be extremely difficult to farm for, but you're gonna still need them for end game stuff anyway, so I don't understand the point. That's gonna do it for the patch notes. You guys can sound off in the comments what you guys think about all of it. I will try my best to do a Trove stream after I post this video, even though I want to play Elden Ring instead. I know that I've been a little bit behind with the Trove stuff, and my apologies for that. But again, while this update is not awful, it definitely doesn't add anything to the game that is exciting. I know that, yeah, that's a good way to put it. Like, a lot of people are really, really frustrated at this update. I don't really mind it that much because I'll just take anything that gives me something to grind. Most of all, it's the numbers. Like, if you crunch the numbers, people have said that a lot of the stuff like Mystic Gear and so on and so forth takes like 2 years of grinding, which there is a new method that people have found out that make that substantially less, which is good. But anyways, long story short, I think that they should have added a new class with this update just to soften the blow of all of this other stuff that isn't very exciting. You know what I mean? But anyways, thanks for watching. Smash like, sub for more. Buy the merch you want to support the channel. Have yourselves a wonderful day, ladies and gentlemen. And if you want to watch more of my videos, the top right, YouTube recommends that one. Or you can check out my most recent upload right here. I'm still going to end up streaming some Elden Ring, but I'll probably end up doing that later tonight. In which case, I'm kind of slowing down on that a bit, which means that I finally have an opportunity to catch up on Trove stuff.